Episode 3. Welcome back, guys. Today episode, as you can see, I'm on my own, and myself and Roman discuss Priapism briefly in episode 2. So today, just for a quick overview of this Priapism and my experience with it. When I was about 7, 8, I went into hospital. Following the discharge from hospital, I went home and life continued as normal for a few weeks until I noticed something wasn't too right, and I did have a few other consultant checkups, but as I said, my experience at the time with Priapism, it was difficult, and mentally it affected me throughout my teenage years. And again, I'm just sharing my story to everyone and people who are living with sickle cell disease. So, leaving hospital, went to my doctors for my checkups, and I just, everything seems okay, or I let everything seems okay even though it wasn't okay. The treatment I received to get rid of the Priapism, I was iced, and the reason why I was iced was because my mom decided that the doctors shouldn't operate. So I was kind of iced. I've got ice pack all over my private area for a couple of days in hospital, which was pretty uncomfortable. So after a few weeks at home, as I said, I had a consultant checkup, and I didn't discuss any of this with my consultant because I was too embarrassed to talk about it with my GP. Why I was so embarrassed? I think even celebrity talk about it were embarrassed to talk about prostate cancer. I remember listening to Idris. I got so much support from my family, even though my mom wasn't there. My aunties, my network of family was there for me, but I couldn't open up and talk to anyone about it because it was hard. It was difficult. Anyway, moving on from then, still never said nothing to my doctor, so life carries on. And a few weeks, maybe month after, I still have other checkups, and I never discussed it with my GP, my doctors. I was kind of living in my own little space, and why I said that is I just couldn't talk to anybody. So the reason why I said I just couldn't, I never have the mental space to talk to anyone, and to me that was just private to me. So many a times I would sit down in my own little space and just sitting down in my own space, even though I wasn't one of those children who go to church and really take church seriously. I was sitting in my own little space and I was like, Lord, or I'm speaking to myself. I can't remember if I call out Lord, but I know I'm speaking to myself and I'm speaking to the Lord and I'm saying, like, Lord, help me to get my erection back. Because as a boy growing up, not having erection I don't know how I could live with it. I couldn't explain how I would live with it. I don't know how. So I was trying to picture life without growing up, turning into a man without an erection. So I couldn't really picture it, but I was trying to. So in my own little space, I was like, Lord, please let me get my erection back. And I remember one morning waking up, I went for a wee as normal in the morning, and I can feel a difference. And when I said I can feel a difference, the only way I can explain this to you guys is, if you plant a little pea in a pot, and one day you wake up and you see that little sprout coming out of the ground, that's how I can explain. I can feel a difference. I can feel something happening. And that was the starting point of my erection coming back. Now this, I would say, maybe was probably around 12, maybe even 13. I can't remember exactly the years has since it happens, and I said it happened from about 8. I can't remember the exact years, but this, when it started to come back, I was about 12, 13, and that was the start. Just watching that little sprout, like a pea growing out of a pot. I wouldn't say every day there was a change, but that was the start. And that goes on until I was about 15, just going into high school. And me going into high school, that was life-changing for me. Because, as a young boy going into high school, you're not a primary school anymore. You're not a primary school student anymore. So you're going into high school. You want to look the part. You want to. I remember before I even get to year 10, 11, which was my last year in high school. We were in a group of about 8, 10 of us, and every one of my friends, they do have the girlfriends. And I remember a girl, I think a different girl in year 10 and another one in year 11. They both did like me, but I didn't really show interest in them too much. So even when my friends were taking girls to their home, or one home, all of us going to that one home, I wasn't the one who want to invite the girl I was talking to say, come over. Because we would go to the home, we'll have a big cookout at the house, and whatever happened. I mean, high school life was nice, but again, for me, I can't say that I enjoyed the best, but I did my best at school, and that's what matters. So after I leave high school, I think I left high school 98, and I start to see girls from outside of school where then have the confidence to even start to, sleep with those girls. And when I say sleep with, intercourse. So that was about, again, I said 98, after I leave high school. Then I fly out to America and I come back. And, after coming back from America, I met up with my wife, and never knowing at the time that she would have been my wife, but we start, should I even use the word dating? I think we could talk about that in another episode, but we met up 99, and we started to date. And since then we managed to, we have 6 kids, 5 beautiful girls and a boy. And the Lord, I would say, blessed me with those 6 kids. So even though I was going through the tough times where I said I sit in my own little space and I was crying out to the Lord, I think the Lord probably wasn't listening to me, but he did answer my prayer. He did answer, because I never knew when that erection was gonna come back. But my plan is not God's plan. And again, as I said, this is my experience of living with sickle cell, and I just want to share it with everybody. And for those who are suffering with sickle cell disease, again, you are not alone. And I would take the time to talk to families and even friends if you do have the confidence to do so, and parents if you're watching and your child got the sickle cell disease, have a chat with them. And if they do go through something like Priapism, again, sit down and talk to them. Because I wish at the time my parents did take the time to sit down and talk to me. For now, I leave it at that, and I'll catch up with you in the next episode, where I'll probably talk about how I meet my wife, extending that a bit more. So peace out to everyone, and we catch you on the next one.